Ladies and gentlemen, this particular story comes out of a place called Indiana. And I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard about Indiana or some of the ridiculous stories that come out of this state. But the individual that y'all see on my screen who looks like Oscar the Grouch, probably a lesser version that looks like he crawled out of somebody's exhaust pipe. Yes, this man looks dirty. He looks disgusting. He looks I don't know, like he just looks like don't touch him or those things on his face might pop. Like he looks absolutely ridiculous. But even more ridiculous than how he looks is what he did to the family that y'all see on my screen down there at the bottom. Absolutely ridiculous. And I want y'all to look at this. The police ain't got no chill, and I don't even blame them. They brought this fool out with his drawers, in his drawers, with his pants falling off his behind, right? Because y'all know they're going to kick his butt in jail, so I guess he already had his pants down, because y'all know how that's going to go down, right? Because what he did was just absolutely inexcusable. An Indiana man has been accused of injuring his baby girl's mother. His baby girl's mother. So somebody was sleeping with a man that looks like this? Are the choices in Indianapolis, Indiana, or whatever, wherever this is, are the choices that limited? That's the best you could do? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so disrespectful. But when y'all look at these stories and y'all see what people are doing to these kids and these families, these are human beings that y'all see on my screen. I know y'all might think that this is simply a news story. No, these people were real people. This is not a fake story. What happened to them for the amount of money that happened to them can never be excused. All right? I know that we should, us who are God-fearing people should be forgiving, but I do think some things in life just should not be forgive. All right? He shot his baby girl's mother, shooting dead 4 of her family members, and then he abducted his daughter after getting into a fight. Why? Are y'all ready for this? Because he wanted not the whole stimulus check. Why would he ever want the whole stimulus check? This fool murdered everybody because he wanted half. I repeat, half. As in 1/2. As in 50%. As in $700 of a $1,400 stimulus check. Are people really that broke nowadays? I know people that can go work a minimum wage job and at least get that kind of a paycheck in 2 weeks, maybe even a week. Like, I don't know. I don't know what minimum wage is in Indiana. He murdered these people not even over the whole $1,400, which ain't nothing to begin with. Please, everybody type that in the chat. Not only that baby, but those 3 other individuals lost their lives over $700. Please type that in the chat. $700, $1,400. There is no amount of money that is worth someone's life. How about that? I don't care if it was $700,000. There is no amount of money. You only get to live once, and we only get a chance to do this life one time. Why can't we find more meaning in life than something as trivial as money? And let me tell y'all my theory on money, if y'all don't mind. Money is just an idea. Ooh, we getting ready to get deep. Are y'all ready for this? Money is just an idea. Somebody decided that currency could be used in exchange for the barter system. Everybody catch that? Instead of the barter system, they decided to create coins and paper bills and say, I'm going to give you this as a trust in exchange for goods and services. Yes? Nothing means anything unless you put a value on it. People believed in the dollar. It comes from your mind. It's an idea. You have to believe that that greenback, that paper, that ducats, that cheese, that them greenbacks, those government bills that have dead presidents on them, you have to believe that it's worth something. I know y'all wasn't expecting me to get deep about money today, but we are. Just a little bit. I believe that you can work hard and earn a living and get the things that you truly want. But to say that not one, not two, not three, but 4 people's lives, including your baby daughter, if you want to throw that in the mix, because you could have just as easily have done something to the little baby as well. Those 5 lives were not worth any level of currency. Let's move on with the story, though. Police say, let's move off of this dude. That dude is a whole nother topic. Let's talk about this. That guy, his name is Malik, M-A-L-I-K, half acre. Half acre. It's funny because his name is truly a paradox. His last name is Half Acre, which is spelled Halfacre, Half Acre. And it's funny that his name is Half Acre because he wanted half of this stimulus check. Not even the whole damn check. You know, it's funny. You just can't be that level of dumb. But some people just are. The root of all evil. Money is the root of all it's the love of money is the root of all evil. That's the way it goes. The love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money. Thank you, Dre the Dream. The love of money is the root of all evil. All right. Malik Halfacre, who is 25 years old, opened fire inside an Indianapolis home what her name is, Genetrius Moore. I think that's the mother, Genetrius Moore, who was the mother of his 6-month-old daughter on Saturday night. Moore's 7-year-old daughter, Eve, her mother, Tamika Brown, who was 44 years old, her brother, Daquan Moore, who was 23 years old, and cousin, Anthony Johnson, who was 35 years old, were all shot dead. That's a lot of names I just named, but we'll come back to how all of these people ended up in the same exact area at the same time. I'll give y'all my theory here in a minute. Moore was injured in the shooting, but managed to escape and alert her neighbors. Halfacre allegedly fled the scene with his baby daughter. He was arrested on Sunday evening in the attic of a different home about 4.5 miles from the shooting scene. So he ran and took refuge in somebody else's house and hid in an attic. That's going to be a whole nother story in itself. We'll come back to that. His 6-month-old daughter was found unharmed. So we could put a prayer hands up in the chat for that. The smallest and most defenseless person in this story, that little baby, was found safe, which is that little girl right there. We got to thank God for that. Put a prayer hands up in the chat for that. Somebody said I'm their favorite YouTuber. Let me say thank you. I mean, for y'all to even be here at all, I'm truly honored. So thank you guys very much. If y'all would do me a favor, take a pause. Please click that thumbs up. Share this stream because I want the world to be able to hear this story. But I want y'all to be able to hear exactly what my thoughts are, because I think what I think about this story is a little bit more unique than anybody else that you'll listen to. Okay? So if y'all would, please share and click that thumbs up. All right? Let's keep going. Moore's family said that the shooting was sparked by an argument over the mother's $1,400 stimulus check. They said Halfacre had come home a night earlier demanding half of her check. Why? Y'all got to think about that. Why is that a problem? If y'all were in a relationship, which I'm not sure that they were, but if y'all were in a relationship, why would you demand half of this woman's money? First of all, can we talk about something? How do you get a stimulus check? Can anybody post that in the chat? How do you either get a stimulus check or earn a stimulus check? Let's talk about this for a moment. In order to get a stimulus check, you would have had to have filed your taxes. In order to file taxes, you have to report your income. In order to report your income, you have to have an income, which this motherfucker, excuse my language, don't look like he had. He don't look like he had an income. He don't look like he had a future. He don't look like he had access to a razor, a shaver, nothing. Look at his face. I'm sorry, that is just disgusting. Okay? So mom was the one working. It seems like this man was living off of that woman. And if you ask me, what did they truly get into an argument about? And why did they potentially break up? Because that dude brings nothing but penis to the table. And last time I checked, penis ain't doing nothing but getting a lot of these women in trouble. Can I say that again? Shout out to my ladies. Huh? Penis is getting a lot of y'all in trouble that you can't handle. There are some women, it's not all, it's only some, not the women in my chat, but some women out there are only having babies for the benefits that they can collect off of those children. Hashtag babies for benefits, which is why that's our hashtag. That's why we say it. But then you have a lot of ladies that truly believe in these bum-ass scrubs, dudes like this, who come a dime a dozen in Indianapolis, maybe even more than that, huh? I want y'all to think about this. This woman cared about that worthless, crackhead-looking penis that much that she was willing to sacrifice herself, her 2 daughters, a grandma, an aunt, at risking cousin's life, risk everybody's life over that. Now, y'all tell me, and y'all look at that screen and tell me that his penis was worth everybody dying for. You can't. When are we going to start making better decisions for our children? If you're grown, if y'all want to have a grown house full of people, then that's one thing. But if you have children, you can't make these kind of decisions when you have children. Yes? If you want to recklessly have sex with a dude that ain't shit, then you got to do it when you don't have kids. When you have kids, you just got to make better decisions. Let's not talk about the fact of why all of these people were inside of this house and he had access to kill all of these grown adults and one of the kids at the same time. Like, what did he do? Did he lay everybody on the ground and shoot them execution style? Or did he go to each one of them one by one and shoot them with a gun? And then you'd have to ask, how did a dude who ain't got a future, who ain't got a job, who ain't got a life, who ain't got half of a brain get access to bullets and a gun and shoot all of these people? One by one. Shit, I'm not, the second I hear something, pow, I'm out the door. Or going to grab my heat, which I do happen to keep with me at all times. If you guys are not law-abiding citizens and have your license to carry and be proficient, if you guys would, please go get your license in your state. I know some of y'all states like Indianapolis and like Ohio make it hard for y'all to get weapons, but if you are a law-abiding citizen, I encourage you at least go get a weapon to be able to defend yourself and your family. I be damned. If you come for me, we going out with a gunfight. Believe that. You're not gonna come for me and my kids and my family, and we gonna all go out. Mr. 24 shots. Jay McLovin knows. It's gonna be a long day at the office. I got more shells than a little bit. But let's move on. Let's move on past that. Let's move on. She said, no, you don't deserve any of this money. This is what the mom said. You don't deserve any of this money. I work. I take care of our child. You don't do anything. Moore's cousin Wendy Johnson told the news. Lord have mercy. But you know what? I got to tell you, for purposes of my show, I truly appreciate it when people are honest and they come out and they talk like this so we can truly know what happened. She challenged the little bit of manhood that this dude had left. Did y'all catch that? I'm going to read it again. The mom, which caused this fool to go off, the dude looked like he's slower than a bottle of molasses that was left out in the snow. The boy would not win a race against a turtle. Look how slow he looking. Ask him to recite his ABCs. I bet you he can't do it. That boy looks slow. And then you turn around and challenge the little bit of manhood he have left by saying, no, you don't deserve none of this money, which he doesn't. I work. I take care of our kids and you don't do anything. So you would have to ask, why have him around? Are there any ladies that understand where I'm coming from out there? I'm trying to speak to this in here. Y'all see this right here? This big old thing that's pumping inside of your chest. Hopefully there's not an ice pump in there. I hope there's some warm blood inside of that thing. It's called your heart. I'm speaking to your heart. Does anybody understand where I'm coming from? If the dude ain't worth nothing and he hasn't been working and he probably was a piece of crap before you started procreating with him, why did you keep him around? Look, I understand if you happen to think a dude is attractive and you want to sleep with a dude, have a baby, fine, but that don't mean that you have to be tied to that individual and keep a dangerous person around you. Yes? She demeaned this man, but she had every right to, but you also have to understand, y'all know my analogy. What's my famous analogy? Does anybody want to say it? What happens when you take your children to the thug zoo? And I want y'all to remember that thug is not a color. Thug is an action. Can somebody say that in the chat? Thug, T-H-U-G, is not a color. It's not your skin tone. It's not because they're black. Thug is not a color. It is an action. And anybody can be a thug based on your actions. So you take your children to the thug zoo and you go play with the thug lion, and then you wonder, oh, the little thug lion looks cute. You know it's dangerous as shit. You've heard 1 million people getting mauled by the thug lion, but you still want to go get you a thug lion. Huh? And that thug lion went and damn near killed your entire family because mama wanted to go play at the thug zoo. One thing that my father taught me, and shout out to my father, I'm glad I have a mother and a father who have been married more years than I've been born. I'm absolutely honored for that. That's why I love the nuclear family. But one thing my father taught me was to be accountable for your actions and where your life goes. Don't leave your destiny up to anybody else. So if we believe in this concept and we all hold ourselves accountable, then this mother should be held accountable for why everybody ended up where they were. Yes? Some of y'all might disagree with that, but let's move on with the story. Moore eventually said that Halfacre could have $450, but he allegedly told her, I'm going to get that money before leaving. Lord have mercy. Police say he returned to her home the following night before opening fire. Authorities found Moore outside the home after being shot in the back. She directed police to the home and told them other victims were inside that house. Moore was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Please put a prayer hands up in the chat. I do not wish anything bad on that mother. She is in critical condition. Please put a prayer hands up in the chat. Let the family know that we hope and pray that she pulls through. Okay? We hope that she pulls through. Halfacre was being held on Monday on preliminary murder, attempted murder, and other charges. Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department Deputy Chief Craig McCart did not mention Halfacre by name during a Monday morning news conference, but said that the suspect had gotten into an argument at the home before the shootings. There was an argument that escalated to the point where he pulled out his weapon and started shooting everyone there in the home. He said the shooting suspect faces 4 preliminary counts of murder and 1 count each of attempted murder and robbery. He noted, however, that the Marion County Prosecutor's Office has not yet filed formal charges because all of this stuff is still kind of ongoing, okay? So hopefully everybody understands that. This is more black on black crime. And let me ask you guys this, because I didn't see a lot of outrage in the news. I didn't see people on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram posting about this story outside of me and Illicit Deeds and a couple other people. Why is nobody outraged about this? Why are we not marching in the streets? Where is Black Lives Matter? Hashtag BLM? Or does that stand for Babies Lives Matter? Because that's what we believe. But why is nobody out in the streets protesting about these thugs with guns as opposed to calling it gun violence? No, it's thugs with guns violence. It's continue to letting people out who have violent criminal histories and continue to let them out of jail, giving them probation, giving them a slap on the wrist, and keep letting them out of jail, but ain't nobody protesting about this. We are killing each other over measly stimulus checks. What do y'all think about this? What the hell would we ever do if the government did decide that black folks deserve reparations? Are we going to just kill each other out? Is that what's going to happen? Let me get y'all the fair usage because I'm really pissed off about this. If y'all are pissed off about this, let me know in the chat. Let's go. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Indianapolis, Indiana, I want to see if any of y'all are going to be out there protesting. Let's go.
And we start tonight with new information about a weekend homicide that left 4 people dead on Indy's east side. Metro police say they've now made an arrest in this case. It took some time to draw up the suspect with a standoff, then surrender to IMPD's SWAT unit. Tonight, our Lauren Kostick shows us what happens next.
It was Sunday afternoon when police received a tip that Malik Halfacre was inside this home. After several hours of negotiating, the SWAT team finally found him inside the attic. SWAT team members handcuffed and escorted Malik Halfacre out of the home in the 6200 block of East Ridge Drive. Before SWAT team members made entry, they spent 3 to 4 hours trying to get him out, sending him messages and using tear gas.
SWAT team members taking every precaution there was to keep the community safe, to keep officers safe, knowing that this person was armed and dangerous.
After being taken into custody, Halfacre was sent to the homicide office where detectives are continuing the investigation. This arrest comes less than 24 hours after Saturday's quadruple homicide.
I do believe that the community has played a role. They've been giving us information, and that's what's important. Our community sticks together, and our community has done what we have been urging them to do for a while. Contact us, give us the information.
Investigators believe Saturday's crime is domestic related.
It's painful. It's painful. It's heartbreaking. It's devastating.
Daniette Smith is with Silent No More, a domestic violence advocacy group. She visited the crime scene Sunday morning to support the family, reminding others that help is available.
There are people out here that have been in your shoes, including myself, and there is a way out. There are resources out here, and we'll walk you straight through it.
And police say the lone survivor from Saturday's shooting is in stable condition, and the 6-month-old baby is safe and unharmed.
Now, police have yet to release the names and ages of the 4 people killed on North Randolph Street. We do know, however,
we already have their names. I read those. If y'all need their names again, I can give them to you. And let me say thank you to Leanne Engel, who just donated again. And she said, hashtag defund thugs. And I didn't even think about that. That's going to be our new hashtag. Why defund the police that have to come out and find these dangerous criminals? They have to find them. They put their lives on the line every single day. But we talk about defund the police. But we won't talk about defunding the thugs, defund the drug dealers, defund the killers. How come we never had that? The homicide victims are Eve Moore, who was 7 years old. That's the little girl. Dequan Moore, 23 years old. Anthony Johnson, 35 years old. Tamika Brown, who's 44 years old. And the mother, of course, we're hoping and praying that she survives. I really hope she survives because I'm sure, you just couldn't picture this happening. but we got to make sure and not put ourselves in dangerous, precarious situations. Let's keep going. Matter of fact, if y'all want to hear the neighbor, I have a video of the neighbor who gave his version of a play-by-play. If y'all want to hear that, let me know. He was the boyfriend. So you asked in the chat, is the murderer the boyfriend or the son? No, he's the boyfriend. He's the boyfriend.
Records confirm that 4 people were killed this weekend over a stimulus check.
It's something the family of those killed on Randolph Street told us yesterday. Police documents also revealing details of the suspect's criminal past.
Fox 59's Jesse Wells explains why the family and police leaders say all of this could have been avoided.
The affidavit filed in the case shows that after being arrested, the suspect confessed to killing 4 people inside this home here on Randolph. Some feel those deaths could have been avoided if the suspect had been more severely punished for previous acts of violence.
And remember, I called him a thug. And remember, thug is not a color, it's an action. So he has a long criminal history, which y'all are getting ready to listen to. So this is why I was calling the mom out, by knowing that this dude was dangerous, and she continued to allow him to be around. Let's listen to this. Again, don't forget, please click that thumbs up if you're listening, okay? Let's go.
Believe an argument over stimulus money led to 4 people being shot to death on Saturday. The accused killer, Malik Hellfaker, allegedly admitted after the shooting he took the money, then dropped his 6-month-old daughter off at his sister's home before driving to a friend's house where he was eventually arrested. That shooting claimed the lives of Tamika Brown, Anthony Johnson, Daquan Moore, as well as 7-year-old Eve Moore. The mother of Malik's child survived.
She lived in fear with this man. She suffered through this before the shooting.
The victim's family explains that Malik had a history of violence long before the murders. In 2017 on this street, prosecutors claim Malik shot another man multiple times. That victim survived, and court records show Malik was charged with aggravated battery.
I'm going to rewind that and let y'all listen to his long, L-O-N-G, long criminal history. Let's listen again.
Claim the lives of Tamika Brown, Anthony Johnson, Daquan Moore, as well as 7-year-old Eve Moore. The mother of Malik's child survived.
She lived in fear with this man. She suffered through this before the shooting.
The victim's family explains that Malik had a history of violence long before the murders. In 2017 on this street, prosecutors claim
2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. So you mean to tell me she was just going to be content? Don't act like almost 4 years wasn't long enough, 3 years wasn't long enough, 2 years wasn't long enough, 1 year, 1 month, 6 months wasn't long enough to leave. You shouldn't have to struggle to leave these violent relationships. Don't get involved. I thought we were the most educated in the United States. I thought. I believe it, but we got to show it.
Malik shot another man multiple times. That victim survived, and court records show Malik was charged with aggravated battery, but a plea agreement allowed him to plead guilty to a lesser charge of pointing a firearm, which resulted in a jail sentence of just a few months. Prosecutors would only say the lack of witness cooperation complicated that case, yet according to police reports just last May, Malik was also suspected of shooting the car of his child's mother, but he was never charged with that crime.
She was afraid to leave him because she didn't have faith in the system.
The victims of these crimes, the witnesses to these crimes, they are not going to talk to the police. They're not going to cooperate with the investigations when they know for a fact that violent offender is coming right back out. The system is broken. It's extremely broken in Marion County.
Tonight, the suspect remains behind bars in the Marion County Jail, where he's being held without bond pending the filing of formal charges.
Can y'all please put one of our hashtags in the chat? It's called hashtag Date Thugs Date Death. Let's go.
Today, court records confirm that 4 people were killed this weekend over a stimulus check.
It's something the family of those killed on Randolph Street told us yesterday. Police documents also revealing details of the suspect's criminal past.
Fox 59's Jesse Wells explains why the family and police leaders say all of this could have been avoided.
The affidavit filed in the case shows that after being arrested, the suspect confessed to killing 4 people inside this home here on Randolph. Some feel those deaths could have been avoided if the suspect had been more severely punished for previous acts of violence.
Police believe an argument over stimulus money led to 4 people being shot to death on Saturday. The accused killer, Malik Helfaker, allegedly admitted after the shooting he took the money, then dropped his 6-month-old daughter off at his sister's home before driving to a friend's house where he was eventually arrested. That shooting claimed the lives of Tamika Brown, Anthony Johnson, Daquan Moore, as well as 7-year-old Eve Moore. The mother of Malik's child survived.
She lived in fear with this man. She suffered through this before the shooting.
The victim's family explains that Malik had a history of violence long before the murders. In 2017 on this street, prosecutors claim Malik shot another man multiple times. That victim survived, and court records show Malik was charged with aggravated battery. But a plea agreement allowed him to plead guilty to a lesser charge of pointing a firearm, which resulted in a jail sentence of just a few months. Prosecutors would only say the lack of witness cooperation.
Can we get a hashtag background checks? Matter of fact, if y'all notice the emoji that they're using in the chat with the skull, that's the new emoji that's hashtag Date Thugs Date Death. Channel members can access it, but that's the new one. I know it's a little hard to see because the text is small, but it looks real good on the t-shirts though. Let me go ahead and try to skip and see if I can find that neighbor's interview real quick. Let me see if I can find his interview.
You've been shot. Running.
From the man who rescued that Seoul shooting survivor.
The lone survivor of the shooting here at the house took off running and ran southbound here on Randolph, where she got the help she needed.
And I talked to her, and she was shot. I said, oh my God, you've been shot.
Craig Jackson showed us how he came to the aid of shooting victim Genetrius Moore, the only survivor from gunfire that claimed 4 of her loved ones. Moore escaped to Jackson's front porch, where they waited for police together.
What you doing? You squat down, and I'm gonna squat down with you, and I'm gonna talk to you while I'm on the phone with the police. Tell them I need some assistance.
In court documents, Malik Halfacre reportedly admitted he and Moore argued because he wanted some of her stimulus check, and admitted to shooting all of the deceased individuals in the house, taking money and her car. Halfacre also told police, according to court documents, after the shooting, he dropped off his daughter and walked to his friend's house. That's where SWAT officers convinced him to surrender after an intense standoff. Now, Jackson hopes to reunite with Moore just to give her more support.
I would love to meet her, to talk to her, to give her my condolences, because she said she wants to do a GoFundMe, and I'm more than willing to help her with the GoFundMe to assist at the funeral for her loved ones.
He's more than willing to assist her with the GoFundMe. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a jerk. I promise you I don't. I want y'all to remember that these people, let me get that picture back up on the screen so y'all can see this. I'm tired of people getting mad at me because I am the GoFundMe police. Yes, I am. 23 years old, 35 years old, 44 years old. I don't know how old the mom is. Now, the 7-year-old is 7 years old. Why is it that not one single person has life insurance? What excuse are the people who hate me for continuing to tell people that they need to be responsible for their lives and death, just like all Americans should be, instead of relying on crowdfunding, which is basically begging and hoping that somebody get their heartstrings plucked and you feel sad about their story, because there's tens of thousands of people who put up GoFundMes for deaths and they get no money because their story is not sad enough. But why are you even counting on that? Why are you counting on GoFundMe when we all should be responsible for our lives and deaths of our own family. Your family should take care of this. Between 1, 2, 3, 4 grown people plus those 2 children, nobody had life insurance. That's just simply irresponsibility at its finest, and it needs to stop. With all these days, let's just open up a GoFundMe and hope that these benevolent white people feel sad for your GoFundMe accounts.
And a neighbor was there when the person...
Janika Nichols and her family. Herself, Angenika had already sympathized with the victim's family, who had started watching her Facebook Live of the standoff.
From the comments, I felt the genuinely when they were asking me to keep living, keep going, you know. So I set my phone down, let it sit there while I was in the house.
Angenika prays the gun violence stops in our city, especially so her own children are safe.
And the last 2 years have been the worst 2 years. I won't let my kids go nowhere out my sight. We sit in this house. If they go somewhere, I'm going. And I have teenagers.
Eventually,
3 girls, no man. Shout out to Tommy. Y'all can never say he's wrong. Hashtag where the husbands.
During her Facebook Live, the standoff ended with Halfacre arrested by police on 4 preliminary counts of murder.
There we go, y'all.
Here we go. This is the more detailed interview. Let me let y'all listen to this play-by-play. If y'all are ready, hit that thumbs up. Let's try to see how many thumbs up we can get. If we can get 1,000 thumbs up, that would be awesome. That'd be a first, I think, on a live show. Let me go ahead and play this video.
Millions of people across the nation await their
I think I got to turn it up.
$1,400 direct stimulus payments. One family has been completely destroyed over theirs. Wish TV's Sierra Hignite has the story.
Craig Jackson says that he was waiting on a food delivery late Saturday night when he heard a knock on his door.
I was sitting right here in my chair. I heard a loud bang on the door, bam, 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 bam. I guess I said, "Who is it?" She said, "Could you help me? I've been shot."
Her family says it was Genetrius Moore. She had been shot by Malik Halfacre.
She said her baby daddy shot her, and he shot her, her mother, and the kids. She said she was the only person who got away.
While they waited for help to arrive, Jackson tried to keep more conscious by talking to her.
I said, "Why did he shoot you?" And her exact words, "Stimulus money."
He was in disbelief that Halfacre would kill 4 people and injure another over a stimulus check.
His exact words were, "I'm the only one who got away. He killed the rest of them." That was his exact words.
The people killed in the shooting have been identified as Anthony Johnson, Daquan Moore, Eve Moore, and Tamika Brown. Moore told Jackson after the shooting Halfacre was chasing her.
She was frantic. She was hysterical. She was in pain.
Jackson said a pickup truck drove around the block slowly 3 times while they were waiting, but he couldn't see who was inside.
She kept on saying, "Please help me, please help me, please help me." And I told her, I said, the police are on the way.
Were y'all able to make that out? I don't know if it was loud enough. Let me check and make sure y'all could hear that. I don't know if y'all could hear what he said. I hope so. Let me see.
He couldn't see who was inside.
She kept on saying, "Please help me, please help me, please help me." And I told her, I said,
"Please help me, please help me, please help me." I told her, then I told her, "What happened? You got shot? You got shot? What happened? Who did it? What he shoot you for?" Bro, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but damn. I don't think it's an appropriate response if somebody tells you they got shot to ask them, why did they get shot? Or am I just stupid? If I were a box of crayons, I might be, a navy blue maybe? Because I know I'm not the brightest crayon in the box. But I don't think it's an appropriate question to ask a person who's been shot by gunfire. Why did they get shot? Why not just call the, oh, that's right. I know why he didn't call 911 and call the popo. Maybe he has some type of surgical doctor skills. Maybe a lot of black people have these surgical doctor skills since they don't want their public servants to have money to be able to do their jobs, to be able to provide for their family, so they can come out and come help y'all when y'all get shot by yourselves. Message. Let's go.
A suspect is now in custody more than 24 hours after a quadruple homicide on the city's east side. That also led to an Amber Alert. Thanks so much for joining us here at 11 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. A child was among the 4 people killed, and another child just 6 months old was missing for more than 8 hours. The search for a suspect ended in a police standoff. Our Nikki Dementri was on the scene as the drama unfolded and brings us the very latest tonight.
Take a look at this home here behind me on East Ridge Drive in Indianapolis. You see crime scene tape is still up and police are still here. This after an hours-long standoff ended in a suspect being taken into custody in connection with that quadruple homicide on Indy's Near East Side.
We're about 21 hours into this case. So, I mean, this is a good thing. We have a suspect in custody on something that was horrible.
IMPD says a tip brought the SWAT team to this home Sunday afternoon around 2 p.m. But it wasn't until almost 7 that police say Malik Halfacre, the 25-year-old suspect wanted in the connection to the quadruple homicide and Amber Alert of this 6-month-old on North Randolph Street Saturday night, was taken into custody.
These are the same detectives that worked last night. They're still here, they're still waiting, and they're waiting for him downtown.
4 hours. Neighbors stood outside and
that.
waited.
Oh my.
Tear gas,
Disgusting.
loud bangs, and messages over a loudspeaker to come out safely and peacefully echoed. Off camera, several neighbors told me they were in shock.
I do believe that the community has played a role. They've been giving us information, and that's what's important. Our community sticks together, and our community has done what we have been urging them to do for a while. Contact us, give us the information.
Police say Halfacre surrendered without incident. He was unarmed when found in the attic, but the residence, they say, was not his home.
It's going to be something that detectives are going to establish what the connection is with the people that live here at this house.
I don't know if y'all saw what I saw, but they had the SWAT there. They had a battering ram, which they opened the door with, which I haven't seen that in a long time. They had drones. Wow.
They come about.
The suspect taken into custody is being questioned by police this evening. IMPD says the investigation continues. In Indianapolis, Nikki Dementri, WRTV.
And we start on this Sunday with a violent crime that has shocked the city of Indianapolis.
Let me go ahead and skip to our last video, and then I'm going to give y'all my closing thoughts.
4 people killed, including 1 child, during an argument over a $1,400 stimulus payment. We're told 25-year-old Malik Halfacre got into an argument with the mother of his child, Jean Trias Moore, about splitting her $1,400 check with him 50-50.
Y'all see that battering ram,
She said no,
right?
And the next day, Halfacre reportedly stormed into Moore's home demanding his cut. A family member stepped in and tried to stop him. That's when Halfacre allegedly pulled out a gun and started shooting. 4 people were shot and killed, including Moore's 7-year-old daughter. Moore is hurt, but she survived the shooting. Halfacre grabbed the couple's baby and left, but he was later arrested after a 4-hour standoff with police.
Oh, guys, let me give y'all my closing thoughts. First and foremost, they didn't really talk about this part very much, but I'm going to address it because I catch things a lot of people don't catch. I want y'all to remember this guy right here, Mr. Pants on the ground, looking like a fool with your pants on the ground. Let me see if I can find that picture right there. Pants on the ground, looking like a fool with your pants on the ground. Gross, dude. When he hid, the house that they busted into to find him, do y'all know that was actually a friend's house, his friend's house? So let me point something out. Let me point something out real clear, because I stand against crime and bull crap. First of all, that friend was stupid because that put that friend's life in danger for letting him, and I'm assuming it might have been a female, maybe even like a girlfriend that he was trying to duck out at her house. Not only could she have been killed and shot by the police with the battered ram and the SWAT team and drones and tear gas and all kind of other stuff, could have killed her trying to capture Oscar the Grouch looking face ass. But I believe that that friend that hid him out knew something was wrong, should have called the police, never should have allowed him to be there. But I also believe that that person should be charged as well. And if they find out, like, hey, we don't believe that you really knew what was going on, we won't give you no years in the federal penitentiary. But I believe that people who hide criminals should start being charged and take that seriously. Because that starts to put more people's lives in jeopardy, because then that allows that person to maybe go do more hurt, harm, and danger to more children and more people. Let's move on to my next point. Black on black crime is a serious thing. I don't know why people get mad about that terminology. What else would you call it? I don't know, African American crime on African American crime. I mean, it's just a longer way to say it's us doing this to us. It's not the government. It's not a conspiracy. It's just a bad mentality. And we're making bad choices to continue to sleep with thugs and have babies by thugs, which perpetuates the cycle. And when you decide to have a baby by a man who don't have a job, like, what's so sexy about a person who has no future, who has no career, who has a long criminal history? Can anybody in the chat tell me what is so attractive about that? Are there any ladies who are attracted to niggas that ain't shit? Please give me just a couple of reasons, 2 reasons. What 2 reasons is that dude attractive? When this nigga was so broken, I did say nigga, and I'm going to say that because that's what he is. He's the epitome of the word. When he's so broke that he didn't even ask for the whole check, which he was willing to murder everybody over. He asked for half of the check, and then he got mad when she said, I'm going to give you half of that half. But you didn't earn it. You did nothing. You are nothing. He's a loser. He needs to take his L because he's a big freaking loser. You killed all these people over, let's just say half. Let's do the math real quick. All right. We had 5 people shot, 4 people dead. 5 divided by this money of what? $700? $1,400? Let's see if we can do the math, because I'm not very smart. So let's say $700 divided by 5 people. If everybody would have split, matter of fact, no, I did that wrong. Let's do it like this. Let's say the whole $1,400 stimulus check was split up between mom, boyfriend. Let me see, it was 4 people shot, so 4 plus mom plus him. So 6 people. Split that up. That would have gave everybody $233. Put that in perspective. Put that in your crack pipe and smoke it. $233. This is what black people are killing each other over. If you split that up over 6 people, it'd be $233. If you gave him half, that would have been $700. She said, I'll give you $450. But she didn't even owe this dude that. He has no job. He has no income. He has no jobby, Freddie. He has no income. The only way you can get an income from a stimulus check is if you have been working and filed your taxes and paid your taxes and didn't owe taxes, and for men, if you don't owe child support. But knowing the fact that he had a girlfriend outside of his baby mama, he probably already had child support elsewhere, which that means I don't know how it is that the dudes ain't worth nothing, but we continue to wonder why the black community sucks and why we continue to live in impoverished situations when we continue to keep procreating with poverty. We need to put that in the chat. We need to put that in the chat. Put that in the chat. We are procreating with poverty. I love my ladies and I love my sisters too much to continue to watch us degrade and bring ourselves down like this. We got to say thank God that that baby was safe. R.I.P. to that 7-year-old girl that was lost. And we just got to hope that the mom survives. Now, you also would have to ask, again, why was it that so many people was under one roof? It was at least 5 to 6 people under that roof. Were they all living there? Were they just visiting? Was it a family reunion? And how is it that he was able to shoot all of those people all at one time? It's just beyond me. It's a lot of things in life that I guess I'm just never going to understand. But again, I want to say RIP to those that were lost, and I hope the people of Indianapolis get tired of this happening, and you better start taking a stand and stop sleeping with these thugs, because when you date thugs, you date death. When you make your bed, you better be happy with the bed you lay in. That's just my thoughts. But I'm DJ Just J. We're the AFC, where we advocate for children first. We got to do better, man. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. That's not the end. We still have one more story to tell you guys if y'all have some time. I don't know if y'all have time to listen to this next story. Do y'all got a few minutes? I won't take too much of your time. We're live right now. If you would, do me a favor and click. Let me go ahead and bring my pictures up. I'm going to try to do two things at one time. Let's see here. Uh-oh, is that the wrong? Yeah, that's videos. Let me get the pictures up here. Y'all give me a moment. Here is our next set of pictures. Now, some of y'all might have actually heard this particular story. If you have not, it won't take long to tell it, but I do have a lot to say about this particular story. But this one happened, I believe, a week ago. One of these stories happened about a week ago. So one happened yesterday. The other story happened a week ago. I don't remember which one was which. Okay, we got 700 thumbs up. We're doing pretty good. If y'all would, please click that thumbs up. If we can get 299 people to just click that thumbs up and help share the stream, let more people know that we're live. Let me say thank you to a couple of people who donated. I'm not going to read everybody's name, but I'll try to catch the ones that I can see. So Margaret B. On Venmo, I want to say thank you. To Natasha H. in Cash App, thank you. To let me see, Kerra, Kara, said thank you for bringing awareness in the Cash App. Thank you very much for taking on the $20 challenge. As well as Michelle. Michelle, if you're listening, I think you're right there. Thank you for your Cash App. Bolo TV, who also has a YouTube channel. Thank you, Bolo. Tanea, if you're listening, thank you for your Cash App. Kinshasa, my buddy, my friend, thank you so much over there in the Cash App. Ellen Dorsey, Dre the Dream, Jimmy D. Let me also say thank you to Mookie Lolo. Thank you for putting your chat name, because I was not going to get that right. Mookie Lolo is my friend right there, the moderator. Thank you so much. Took on the challenge and said thank you. Appreciate that. Let me also say thank you. Let me clear some of these off so I can see them. Y'all bear with me a moment. Veronica L in the PayPal, thank you. Leanne Engel in the PayPal. If you guys want to donate, or if you like these shirts, or if you want to at least take a look at some of the designs that we have the links in the description box. If you'll expand it and just look down, you can see PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. Thank you to everybody on Patreon. But I put up at least 4 or 5 brand new designs that y'all might actually like to wear. So make sure you check those out. All right. Let's go ahead and tell our next story. Yeah, okay, I got it. This story comes out of St. Louis. Wow, man. Another story out of St. Louis. I actually been out to St. Louis a few times. I didn't think it was that bad out there. Thank you, Jackie. I did get your PayPal. So if you're listening, I want to say thank you to Jackie. Jackie Prescott in the chat. Much love. I appreciate that. This story is about a failed marriage. You guys know I advocate for marriage, and it just seems like this marriage failed, this mother, this family, and why this man snapped in this way is beyond me. So what happened was the father was divorcing the mom. The husband was divorcing the wife, and for some reason, he went back and killed her and the whole family. So let me tell y'all this story. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys know that I advocate for this thing called nuclear families, which is basically you have the mother and father and you raise the children under the same roof. It's the idea, the social construct, marriage. For so many years, it's been great for America as a whole. But you guys know that the divorce rate is very high, but I still think that the social construct of marriage is still a very, very good thing for us as in general, as a whole. But this marriage was failing. I'm not exactly sure why it was failing, but it should never result in what happened here. Okay? Let me go ahead and get his face up on the screen so y'all can see exactly who I'm talking about. This individual that you guys see on my screen is the subject. Okay? His name is Bobby McCulley, McCulley, McCulley III, who was 35 years old. He's almost my age. I'm a little bit older than him. But a St. Louis man with an apparent history of abuse. A history of abuse. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Maybe. Maybe what I've been saying for the past 3 years is true. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. We're going to talk about that demon that y'all see right there on my screen. We'll talk about her here in a moment. But a St. Louis man with an apparent history of abusing women was shot dead. Shot dead, his estranged wife and her 2 children before he abducted their 1-year-old baby, leaving it with the family, and later turning the gun on himself, because that's what cowards do. Bobby McCulley III, who was 35 years old, is accused of murdering his wife, who y'all see right there. Her name was Roseanne McCulley, who was 34 years old. Her 13-year-old son, let me get them back up on the screen. Her 13-year-old son by the name of Caden Johnson, and her 6-year-old daughter, Kaylee Brooks. Let's back that up for a moment. I'm going to read these names again. The husband's and wife's last name is McCulley. The 13-year-old boy who you see over there on the right-hand side, his last name is Johnson, Caden Johnson. The 6-year-old girl, those are beautiful kids, by the way. Beautiful kids. Her 6-year-old daughter's name is Kaylee Brooks. I don't know the little baby's name, but I'm assuming the little baby's last name is McCulley. I'm not sure exactly how much that plays into this, but I did want to point out that they have multiple last names, which could potentially point to multiple baby daddies, which could potentially point to marital troubles. You guys catch that? They could all have different dads. I'm not sure what role that plays in this, but like I said, we have to assume that they had some type of hardship in their marriage. A lot of times it's financial problems, but then you got baby mama, baby daddy drama too. That happens too, but let's keep going. So McCulley, let me let the pictures roll. McCulley allegedly shot 3 victims and then fled the scene with the couple's 1-year-old baby girl, Zoe McCulley. I told you, they have different last names. The 1-year-old baby's name is Zoe McCulley. Sparking a police manhunt for the suspect and an Amber Alert for the missing child. Now, the little baby was found, so thank goodness for that. Put a prayer hands up in the chat for that. They found the little baby, and she was found safe at a relative's home while McCulley remained at large. The infant was found, let's keep going. The suspected killer was then found dead in his mother's home Friday as police officers closed in on him. I'm going to read that part again. They found him dead at his mommy's home. There's a reason why I'm repeating that. Because mom actually has something to do with this as well. As the community reels from this murder-suicide, details have now emerged that 2 other women accused McCulley of domestic violence 5 years ago, while a friend of the victim said that she urged Roseanne to leave the house hours before she allegedly was gunned down by her husband. Police were called to the home at the 4800 block of Lockwig Trail Court around 11:30 p.m. Thursday after officers' reports of shots being fired. Officers found the body of the 3 victims inside the home and soon learned that the little baby girl Zoe had been taken. The 1-year-old is the daughter of McCulley and Roseanne, but McCulley was not the father of the 2 slain children. Bookmark that. We'll come back to it. The court records show that McCulley filed for divorce. The dad filed for divorce. The husband filed for divorce, not the mom. I want y'all to think about that for a moment. So her friend was saying, you need to leave the house and leave him alone. But he was the one who filed for divorce. Did everybody absorb that? I know this is a lot to think about right now. So she was told to leave, but he was filing the divorce. It's already getting complicated, I know. But let's keep going. Court records show that the husband filed for divorce from his wife on February the 28th, just days before the murders. County Police Lieutenant Colonel Steve Sack said at a news conference that officers had been called to the home earlier Thursday when a neighbor reported a suspicious person between the 2 homes. Sack said officers didn't find anyone and they left. Police now believe that McCulley entered the home with a weapon and held the family against their will for hours before killing them and leaving with the baby. Police said that they had been searching for McCulley early Thursday after Roseanne told them he abused her recently. A manhunt was launched to track down the suspect killer who was charged in an at-large warrant with 3 counts of first-degree murder, which means that's premeditated, meaning they're either going to give him the death penalty or life in prison, potentially with no parole, no chance of getting out. Now, they issued an Amber Alert, and the baby was found safe with relatives just before Friday around 5 a.m. The Missouri State Highway Patrol tweeted that the 1-year-old was taken to the hospital as a precaution, but that she appeared to be unharmed, so that's at least a smidgen of positivity in this story. Police officers were closing in on McCulley when he fatally shot himself in the city of St. Louis. Authorities on Friday also announced that a woman, his mother, let me see if I can get her on the screen, because this is very important. Hold on. See if I can find her. Guys, y'all got to bear with me. I got a lot of pictures in here. This individual, let me see if I can make this picture bigger. Let me see if I got a better picture. Right there. Oh my goodness. I want y'all to absorb this for a moment. On Friday, they also announced that this woman by the name of Michelle Clayton, who was 55 years old, she looked like she's 80. That is a hard 55 years. She's 50. How many of y'all believe that this woman is 55? 55 years old, old crypt keeper, face looking ass. Golly, boy, that's a hard 55 years. But I don't want y'all to feel sorry that I'm disparaging this so-called black queen, right? Because she is arrested and she's going to do prison time because she actually hid him. She was charged with a felony related to the crime. A probable cause statement said Clayton misled and lied to the police. I'm going to say that again. She misled and lied to the police, which is that's intentional, to prevent the police from apprehending her son, Bobby McCulley III. She's go lie for her baby. Go protect her family name. A spokesperson for the St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney, Wesley Bell, confirmed that Clayton is McCulley's mama. I could keep going with the jokes, but I'm going to pause on that. I'm going to hit the brakes on that. A friend of Roseanne told the news that she had grown increasingly concerned for her friend's safety in recent weeks and had urged her to leave her home hours before she was killed. Stephanie St. John says she spoke to Roseanne Thursday around 6:30 p.m. and told her to take the children and go somewhere, to stay somewhere, go anywhere. She says she couldn't persuade her, and so they agreed that she would call every 2 hours to check on her. St. John says she tried to contact Roseanne, who she called Rosie several times that night, but she got no response for obvious reasons. Following the tragedy, it emerged two previous women both accused McCulley of domestic violence 5 years before the murders. Now, according to the news, court documents show one woman obtained a full order of protection in 2016 after he pulled a gun on her and her child and aimed it at both of them. That's on record. That's something you could have did a background check and found out, or maybe she did and maybe she just ignored that. A second woman also filed a domestic relations complaint in June of 2016 saying he threatened her mom, and sent his new girlfriend to my mother's home to fight me, which would have also been on record. Records also show that McCulley pled guilty to false imprisonment charge more than a decade ago and was sentenced to 1 year probation. So that proves he has a violent history, and this is who you decided to get married to, have kids by. Why? Why is it that the thugs and criminals and violent people always get all the women? I'm just saying, if you make your bed, lay in it. Hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let's get it.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Y'all gotta forgive me. I put some lemon, some actual lemon, organic lemon in my Fiji water. And this Fiji water is amazing, by the way. It's some of the most healthy water you can actually drink and buy. Let's get it.
St. Louis community shocked and saddened tonight by a man killing the mother of his baby along with two of her children. Tonight, he's also dead after kidnapping his daughter. I'm Corey Stark. Sam has the night off. That 1-year-old girl is now without her parents. And tonight, only on 4, a close friend of the victim is sharing with us the final days and text of Roseanne McCulley. Russell Kinsall is here, and Russell, she says the relationship was very abusive.
Yes, it was. Did y'all see that little baby? That is a beautiful little baby. Let me see if I can back it up just a little bit.
Stark, Sam has the night off. That 1-year-old girl is now without her parents, and tonight only on...
Look at that baby. What is her name? Baby Zoe? Let's see if I can find her name again. Where is her name at? Zoe. Baby Zoe. That's 1-year-old baby Zoe. Zoe McCulley. Beautiful little baby. I believe that he might have killed those other kids because they weren't his kids. They were not biologically his kids. They were legally his kids because he was married. He's still a punk and a jerk for doing what he did. And I don't really know what prompted him to do what he did, besides the fact that he's just a violent asshole to begin with. But man, that is a beautiful little baby. And I feel so sorry for her. She's not going to have any parents. She's not going to have any siblings. And her world has just been crushed before she even knows it. We believe that babies' lives matter. And I hope that this baby can grow up and become something great. That is a beautiful little girl.
On 4, a close friend of the victim is sharing with us the final days and text of Roseanne McCauley. Russell Kinsall is here, and Russell, she says the relationship was very abusive.
Yes, it was. Those who knew her well called her Rosie. A friend believes that she was the last person to speak to Rosie alive.
She had a lot of people that just loved her because she was such a sweet person.
Stephanie St. John said her close friend Rosie McCullough called her auntie and as a nickname called Rosie her niece. She says Rosie was private about the abuse she suffered till 2 weeks ago.
He assaulted her like really badly.
Rosie McCullough posted about her injuries after being released from the hospital. She said, "He was able to stomp my chest and abdomen, so the bruising and swelling is really bad there. Her pain was so severe, she wrote that she received morphine through my IV." St. John said,
He stomped the crap out of her. Golly. Man, that is a violent dude, period. There is no excuse. And I don't want to hear people talking about, well, she was scared to get away. You shouldn't have to, and I'm gonna keep saying this because I want to help protect our women in the most valuable way possible, which is to make sure that you are educated before you make a bad judgment call. You should not have to struggle to leave a bad relationship. Don't get involved in one. Do a background check and make sure that you are highly educated before you go into a circumstance like this with somebody who already had at least 2 violent incidents on record, and he pled guilty to one of them.
says she encouraged her friend to take her kids and go stay somewhere safe.
I said, I need you to leave the house. I don't care where you go. I need you to get out of there.
Friends worried the next time would be even worse after Bobby McCullough posted this threat on Rosie's Facebook page. It said, "Everyone, enjoy the show. More to come." Police were seeking to arrest Bobby McCullough for the domestic violence, but didn't believe he posed an imminent threat.
We had been looking for the suspect. She stayed there at the residence with her kids. There wasn't any indications to us that he was going to go back last night.
St. John said she last talked to Rosie around 6:30, but planned to check in regularly.
And I'm calling. She didn't answer. And I sent her a text message.
Around 10:30, St. John texted, "Answer me." The response was, "Busy, I will hit you back shortly." St. John wrote, "Girl, I was about to beat these streets," but then she realized that wasn't a normal response from Rosie. She wrote, "Bobby, let my niece go." There was no response. At the time, he may have still been in the house after killing Rosie and her 13-year-old son and 6-year-old daughter.
That is a sick, sadistic individual
who took the life of her dear friend.
St. Louis is going to miss an extraordinary woman.
So St. John said she started to go to Rosie's house last night, but was talked out of it and now regrets not going.
And I'm going to tell y'all this, and shout out to the ladies who are good friends. How many of you guys can raise your hand and say that you are a good friend? Or even to my fellas, I know we got some fellas listening. And thank you to MTGVTV. If you're listening, I did get yours. Thank you very much, my friend. But how many of you guys are good friends and you would ride for your friend? Let me tell y'all this, especially if y'all are parents. Now, if y'all are grown and don't have any kids or don't have any family, if you want to go on some crash dummy missions for your friends, then by all means, y'all know what happens to the crash test dummies. You want to be a crash dummy, a crash test dummy, then feel free. Put your life in harm's way. But you got to think better, because I believe that the majority of these people got kids. They're parents. They got family. They got something that they want to live their life for, if y'all understand what I'm saying. Do not put yourself in harm's way, especially in a situation like this. What was that woman going to go do for another woman against a big grown ass, big ass, fat ass, abusive husband who's known for kicking ass? He's known for kicking ass and taking names and never being held accountable. Huh? What is another woman going to do unless she was going to go there with a gun? And then you got to think you could potentially ruin your own life if they charge you with murder if you go shoot and kill that dude. You don't do that. And I'm warning and trying to plead with you guys, don't go putting yourself in these crash dummy situations for a friend. I've done a number of stories where I've actually watched women try to go help bail these mothers out of these bad situations that they chose to put themselves in. If they make their bed, let them lay in it. You could be a friend from a distance. As a friend, you should be there to listen to her, give her some advice, and just be a listening ear. That's how you be a good friend. You don't be a good friend by go ruining your damn life.
And we've got a big new development now. The accused killer's mother has just been charged in this case. She's in a jail cell. More on that in a moment. This is the house right back here, the red one with the big white garage door. Police actually responded to 2 calls here last night. The first one around 8:30 for a suspicious person, someone going in between houses. And then came that terrible second call.
3 hours later, they received a call for shots fired. And when they responded, they found a window broken in a residence. And that's when they located the 3 victims in the residence.
Police say 34-year-old Roseanne McCauley, her 13-year-old son Caden Johnson, and daughter 6-year-old Kaylee Brooks were shot and killed, and they were held against their will prior to that. These are public photos the mother posted on social media. They lived here on Lockwig Trail near Old Halls Ferry and Redmond. Roseanne McCauley's 1-year-old daughter Zoe was missing at first. An Amber Alert was issued for her and her father, 35-year-old Bobby McCauley. He had just filed for divorce from his wife Roseanne this week. Authorities say the mugshot you see of him is from a domestic violence arrest in 2017, but Roseanne decided not to prosecute then. They later...
I don't get how he could be the one trying to leave her. I want y'all to think about how stuck, S-T-U-C-K, how stuck that mother was on this dude that she didn't even divorce him. He divorced her. The violent husband, the dude that was known for kicking ass, had to leave her. Let me ask y'all a question, and I mean no disrespect to the family. I'm simply asking a question. Does that not signify that maybe she was a little desperate? I'm just asking a question. Let me say thank you real quick. Carrie, Lynn, Sybil, taking on the $10 challenge. Thank you very much. Said, love you, Jay. Love you right back. Thank you so much. To Mookie Lolo, my friend, said we need 167 more likes to get 1,000. Let's get it. We only need 167 more. Thank you for your $5 super chat. You know I truly appreciate you. Let me also say thank you to MTGVTV, who sent us a Cash App just now. Thank you very much. And also thank you to Zanice with an L. Said thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your PayPal. Mookie Lolo, thank you. Veronica L, and also Leanne, thank you also. I mean, no disrespect, but does that not show that she might have been just a little bit desperate? Or am I just being an ass? I could be a little bit mean. Y'all have to let me know. Type something in the chat and let me know if DJ Just Jay is being just a little bit mean. If that serves no purpose in what I just said. I like to have a purpose when I speak. He kicked her ass and he left her. Just saying.
Married and had a baby daughter. McCauley's mother, Michelle Clayton of St. Louis, is now jailed for allegedly lying to police to protect her son. Police tracked his car to where she lives this morning on Clinton Street in North St. Louis near Interstate 70. Police say Bobby McCauley was in the car dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound near the house. He had dropped off the baby unharmed at a relative's house not long after the shootings. Police say there was another domestic violence complaint from Roseanne McCauley last month, and
Let me address this, and I'm glad that you guys are always being honest with me in the chat. And I know people to say that they're afraid and it's a struggle to leave, but that's why I also say Don't struggle to leave, just don't get involved. I think that's by far the most helpful information, and this is how we're trying to help. In our own way, the AFC podcast, we're encouraging women not to put themselves in situations like this. Anybody could have Google searched this fool's name, Bobby McCulley III, which is very specific, found out that he had at least 2 charges and one where he had agreed to accept a sentence. You can easily Google search that, even if you had to pay for it. Make an investment. It don't cost that much to get a background check. Miss June Bennett posts the link in the chat all the time, letting you ladies know, don't get involved in these situations. You need to know who it is that you're laying down with, sleeping with, marrying, and procreating with. That is a simple level of education. Why is it that when it's critical for us to make these correct decisions for our children, we fail? And I don't know why. It just makes it seem like we don't give a shit.
Because we're actually looking for Bobby McCulley yesterday, prior to the shootings.
I think that we do care, but I think caring should be more valuable if we show it in our actions rather than just our words. I got a couple more videos to show y'all, and then we're going to wrap up.
Throughout the day, Fox 2 has spoken with neighbors, police, and the county prosecutor, and we continue to find out everything we can about this tragedy.
New tonight, we discovered this isn't McCulley's first incident of alleged abuse. Fox Files investigator Chris Hayes uncovered the disturbing history.
2 previous women both made claims of domestic violence within months of each other. Court documents obtained by the Fox Files revealed 2 different women feared Bobby McCulley enough to write to the courts. In 2016, one woman obtained a full order of protection. She wrote by hand saying, "McCulley pulled a gun on me and my child and aimed it at both of us." She declined to talk to Fox 2 on camera, but wrote on social media that her continued fear leads her to carry a loaded gun wherever she goes. Also in 2016, we found another domestic relations case involving McCulley. A different woman wrote by hand. In June of 2016, we had police intervention for domestic violence. He's come to my home threatening my mother. He also sent his new girlfriend to my mother's home to fight me. We spoke to a relative of that woman today who said she wanted to maintain her privacy. McCulley's past also reveals abuse from more than a decade ago. When he was 23 years old, court records say he pleaded guilty to false imprisonment, which involves holding someone against their will and tampering with a victim or witness. That conviction got him a year probation in which he wore an ankle monitor. For the Fox Files, I'm Chris Hayes.
Good evening, and first on Fox, police say a mother and 2 children who were killed were victims of domestic violence.
Yeah, and it is.
The dude had a long criminal history. Let me give a shout out to LaKendra McCrae. If you're listening, I want to say hello and hi to you. Much love and thank you very much. Let's keep going. Hashtag say what you mean and mean what you say. I like that. Thank you, Lee. Thank you. I appreciate that. We got a couple more videos. Let's keep this short. Let's keep going.
Shaking the St. Louis community. Fox 2's Zara Barker joins us live with the warning signs of domestic violence.
Yeah, good evening. Now, the state of Missouri has the 3rd highest rate of domestic violence all across the Show Me state, and there's local organizations right here in St. Louis that are trying to prevent another victim.
Once again, a whole family has been wiped out due to domestic violence.
Tragedy unfolds with 3 lives taken too soon.
And oftentimes it's family members and friends who see these incidents before they reach our office. And we need people to point their family members or their friends to the types of resources to get them help. Or if it's already crossed that line of violence, sometimes you got to do the uncomfortable thing, which is report it to law enforcement, because, you know, maybe it might strain that relationship, but it might save someone's life too.
Police say Bobby McCulley shot and killed his wife, 34-year-old Roseanne McCulley, her 13-year-old son, Caden Johnson, and daughter, 6-year-old Kaylee Brooks. Bobby filed for divorce from Roseanne just this week. Authorities say this mugshot is from a domestic violence arrest in 2017, but Roseanne decided not to prosecute. They later married and had a daughter.
What I don't want is the community to continue
to just hear this and become numb to this.
Diamond Diva Empowerment is a nonprofit organization in St. Louis dedicated to educating and empowering women and children affected by domestic violence. When they heard what happened to Roseanne and her kids, their heart broke.
I don't know her. I didn't know the young man. I didn't know her kids, but it's taken a piece of me.
The National Domestic Violence Hotline says warning signs of abuse include, but aren't limited to, preventing or discouraging you from spending time with friends, family, threatening to take away your kids, intimidating you with weapons, or destroying your home. Those with Diamond Diva says the community can help people they know before it escalates.
Keep tabs on people and be an open ear, a non-judgmental ear, so they're there to open up when they're ready.
It's a tragedy. And we have to start being a community that loves each other, a community that helps each other.
And if you find yourself in a domestic violence situation, please reach out to organizations such as Diamond Diva Empowerment or contact the national hotline. That number is right here on your screen.
Or you could just not get involved with a thug. How about that for a resolution? But nobody except us seems to offer that as a solution. Don't y'all think that's a bit odd? If you find yourself in a messed up situation, reach out to us and our organization. I think the better option would be to not put yourself in jeopardy.
Good evening, and first on Fox, police.
Breaking news likely woke you up early this morning. An Amber Alert now over after a 1-year-old girl was taken overnight. She is safe this morning.
News 4's Damon Arnold is live.
To answer your question in the chat, you're asking, did he beat her up in 2017? No, that was somebody different. It was 2 other incidents, 2 other women, 2 separate incidents. So with the wife, the one that he beat up, with this one, the one that he murdered, that's the 3rd incident, probably among many beatings that she got.
In Florissant, where in just the last 10 minutes, Damon, we've learned this all started as a triple homicide.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. This morning, a 34-year-old mother and her 2 children, a 13-year-old boy and a 6-year-old girl, were all found dead here in the 4800 block of, this is Lockwig Trail. Now, they were all suffering from gunshot wounds inside that residence this morning. But again, at approximately 11:32 is when the St. Louis County Police Department got that call. We do know again that the little girl has been found safe. That was about 4:40 this morning, and that's according to Missouri State Highway Patrol, who tells us that the father, 35-year-old Bobby McCulley III, took Zoe again from this scene here at 11:30. Now, you should be looking at a picture of Bobby McCulley III. Police are still looking for him right now. He's described as an African-American, about 180 pounds.
They're not looking for him. He's dead because he was a punk and he committed suicide. Now, we're going to talk about his terrible mother here in a moment. Let me play these last couple of news videos.
We begin with breaking news in North St. Louis County. A mother and 2 children killed in an overnight shooting. An Amber Alert sent to your phone early this morning has been canceled.
But that suspect in that Amber Alert and deadly triple shooting is still on the loose. Our Savannah Louie joins us live now at the scene in North St. Louis County with an update.
Yeah, Monica, Rennie, good morning to both of you. We know that little girl is okay. She's currently with other family members, transported to the hospital, receiving medical attention. But really, this is all part of a more tragic story, a triple homicide, as a woman and 2 of her children are dead this morning. Police are still investigating the scene, but all of this started shortly before 12 o'clock midnight when police responded to a call on Lockwig Trail in unincorporated St. Louis County near Florissant. They found a 34-year-old woman, a 13-year-old boy, and a 6-year-old girl dead in their home from apparent gunshot wounds. Shortly after, an Amber Alert was issued for a little 1-year-old girl believed to be with the suspect, her father. She was located safely and again is now with other family members at the hospital. Now, police are still searching for...
Let me take a pause real quick, and I'll address this while we're live. And I do appreciate when you guys put certain things in the chat so I could try to address them while we're live, so that way we can maybe have a little dialogue. You said, I agree. I understand you disagree with the GoFundMe and that people should have life insurance. I agree with that, but because I do that for me, but I do that for me and mine. But no one is forcing these people to give. I hear you. But nobody is forcing the government to give either. Nobody is forcing us to sign up for these handouts, but we continue to do it. Right? But it's setting a bad precedent. That's what I'm trying to say. It's setting up a bad precedent for reasons like I tried to explain earlier. For every couple of people that are able to get a GoFundMe because their story ended up being really big and it brought in 3, 4, 5 million views from all of the different news stations, those people got lucky just because their story caught a proverbial fire. They got the attention. They got the money. But what about the hundreds of other people that try to follow their lead and they don't get shit? They don't get buried. And then you have a much bigger problem. I want you to think about this. As I'm not getting onto your case, but what I'm saying is that you're talking about something that a lot of people actually ask. A lot of people actually ask that, so I don't mind addressing it because not only can I address what you said, but I can address what other people are saying. I don't know if y'all have actually watched my Funeral Home Foolery. I have a series called Funeral Home Foolery that you can go into my playlist, and I want you to click it, and I want you to watch some of those disgusting videos of all of these dead people that have never been buried. I'm going to say that again. All of these dead people who have never been buried because the family didn't have money to put them in the ground. That is not the responsibility of the funeral home to continue to keep taking their resources. It's our responsibility to bury our own. Right? Everybody is not going to get their GoFundMe funded. Let's get that straight. Thank you. Somebody said, how many murders where they don't get to the media? Then what do? Anybody who has a murder story has a sad sob story that plucks on somebody's heartstrings. A lot of sad stories, the majority, if not all murder stories are sad. So what are those people supposed to do when their GoFundMes don't get funded by crowdfunding because people have to feel sad and feel motivated? If they don't feel motivated, then they're going to be what? Ass out. Get freaking life insurance. Take care of your own. The earlier you get it, the cheaper it is. Do everything that you can, whether it be saving or get a life insurance plan. So hopefully I address that maybe in a different way that might give a wider scope, a more understanding for more people. All right, let's keep going.
The suspect, Bobby McCauley III, a 35-year-old black man. He was last seen driving a 2010 silver Dodge Charger with Missouri plates ZC6 T3V near Goodfellow and Del Mar. Now, anyone with any information is asked to call Crime Stoppers immediately. That number right there on your screen, 866-371-TIPS. And again, this is a developing story. As we continue to learn more, we will continue to bring you the latest. Reporting live from North St. Louis County, Savannah Louie, 5 on your side.
As Savannah just said, we are going to be following this breaking news throughout the morning. But if you have to get out the door, be sure to have the 5.
We start with a tragic story out of North St. Louis County where a mother and her 2 children were shot and killed inside their home. The victims, Roseanne McCauley and her 2 kids, 13-year-old police tried to arrest him. Another woman, Michelle Clayton.
Oh, here's what I wanted y'all to see. I wanted y'all to hear about his decrepit crypt keeper looking mama. We need 100 more thumbs up. If y'all would, please click that thumbs up. Let me show some love. Mookie Lolo, who donated. Thank you so much. To encourage people to do something that actually doesn't cost anything, that's free, make sure y'all click that thumbs up, okay?
With family, McCauley later took his own life when police tried to arrest him. Another woman, Michelle Clayton, is facing charges in this case. A probable cause statement says she misled and lied to police, preventing McCauley's arrest.
Aiding and abetting. His own mama tried to hide him. I think she deserves half as much time in prison. So if he would have gotten 100 years, she should get 50 years, even though she's a good 87 years old in the face. She should have gotten 50 years in prison for her part. She should be done. You don't hide criminals. Like that's just wrong on so many different levels.
First at 4, a neighborhood in shock after a deadly shooting. Good afternoon to you. I'm Corey Stark. Samantha has the day off. Friends and family are grieving after a man shoots and kills the mother of his baby along with her 2 other children before taking his own life. The victims were shot to death in the family's home in North St. Louis County on Lockwood Trail near Old Halls Ferry Road. Police were called to this scene late last night, and Ray Preston has been talking with those who knew the suspect, the victims, police, and prosecutors. Ray joins us live today in Clayton.
Well, this afternoon, word going out from police and prosecutors here to anyone who may be involved in a situation that could lead to domestic violence. Please reach out and seek help. Now, we were in the neighborhood earlier today. Neighbors there described 35-year-old Bobby McCulley as standoffish. One neighbor said that he had a rather odd personality. McCulley and his wife were going through court proceedings according to...
An odd personality? He's been kicking women's asses for the past decade. Talk about an odd personality. Come on now.
Then took his infant daughter and left, which led to an Amber Alert. The baby was later found with family members unharmed.
Welcome in. We start with an update to a breaking story we've been following all morning. A mother and 2 children killed in an overnight shooting. Police say
suspected of killing a mother and her 2 children is believed to be dead. Police sources tell KSDK 5 on your side to a call on Lockwood Trail in unincorporated St. Louis County near Florissant. They found a 34-year-old woman, a 13-year-old boy, and a 6-year-old girl dead in their home from apparent gunshot wounds. Shortly after, authorities issued an Amber Alert for a little 1-year-old girl believed to be with that suspect, who is her father. Now, a source tells 5 on your side that child was dropped off at the with McCulley's sister around 3:30 this morning at a home in North St. Louis. Right now, that little girl is located safely, and she was taken to the hospital earlier this morning.
Now, I wonder if that sister that he dropped the baby off with, I wonder if she called police, because if she didn't, we got to do better. It don't sound like nobody was willing to tell on this dude.
Bobby
But I don't know that for a fact. I'm just throwing that out there as a speculation.
McCulley III has a history of domestic violence dating back all the way to 2015. As we continue to learn more about this developing story and investigation, we'll continue to bring you the latest updates on air, online at KSDK.com, and that 5 on your side app. Reporting live from Clayton, Savannah Louie, 5 on your side.
All right, let me give you guys my closing thoughts real quick. Let me say thank you to a couple of people. I got to thank one of my amazing supporters among so many, but Leanne, you know I truly, truly appreciate you. And she said, bringing awareness to these kids, no one else is. Thank you for what you do. I will say this, more people are joining into the fight, but I do want to see more people taking a stand in their communities when we have these rallies, when it's really time to step up and make a difference, when it's time to turn somebody in, when we know some information, when we see something, we should say something. Not only thank you for your message and your words, Leanne, but thank you so much for your donation, because it truly, truly means so much to me, and I appreciate that. Let me show love again to Mookie Lolo. We only need 61 more people to click that thumbs up. Don Love said, use the $1,400 stimulus per kid to pay for all 18 years of childhood life insurance. No excuses. Thank you for all that you do. Love my AFC family. Don Love, you know I appreciate you and love you right back. Thank you. Now, that's a great message right there. I have to call that out, and I got to say thank you to Don Love for giving me that message. How many of y'all are getting these stimulus checks that took that stimulus check and made an investment, paid for your children's college fund, graduation, or life insurance? Life insurance, high school, like the things that they need, like their senior trip, class jacket, class ring, graduation fees, college fund. If you are depending on that stimulus check to pay your bills and get by, then I just think that we might be using our funds incorrectly. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Let me also say thank you, Ami R, who donated $5 by way of the super chat. Ami R, my friend and supporter, I thank you so much for that. Let me go ahead and give y'all my closing thoughts again. Let me get his mom up on the screen real quick. That is a disgusting woman. Not only disgusting because of her actions, but she also looks disgusting. She looks like the Crypt Keeper. I don't know if y'all remember Tales from the Crypt, but that's exactly what she looks like. She looks like the urban version of the Crypt Keeper. Disgusting woman. But again, mom should have done a background check and found out that this dude had a criminal history of violence. There is no excuse to lay down with somebody who has a criminal record and you act like you didn't know. You didn't care to look it up. And you brought children into this situation and caused them hurt, harm, and danger. It's very sad that all three of these people lost their lives because this dude snapped. But again, it also makes it even more weird the fact that he actually was filing a divorce from her. He was going to leave her. So he kicked her behind and then was going to file a divorce against her. And to me, that sounds like somebody who might have just been a bit desperate to stay with somebody like this dude. It's a heinous, horrible situation. And no, those people did not deserve this at all, especially our babies. They cannot speak for themselves, nor can they defend themselves against the tyranny of their thuggish, ruggish stepfather. I'm thankful for the little bit of positive news that the little baby survived, and we can only hope that God keeps his protective hands around that baby, and that baby can grow up and become something great. Zoe McCulley, 1 year old. Let's put a prayer hands up in the chat and hope that she can grow up and become something great. We also put a prayer hands up in the chat for the children that lost their lives in this situation. And we also feel bad for the mom that she met her demise like this. Really sad situation. But we are doing this to ourselves, and we hope that we can just continue to encourage you guys, educate you guys. If you see something, say something. There's so much we can do to prevent situations like this. To that woman, I hope she spends the rest of her life in prison. She only got about 7 or 8 more years left in her life anyway. All right? I'm DJ Just Jay. We're the AFC, where we advocate for children first. Babies are our priority, and we believe that babies' lives matter. Please make sure you guys share, listen, and subscribe to the AFC podcast, where we advocate for children first. That is where our first priority is. From my heart to yours. I love you guys. Thank you for listening with an open mind and an open heart. Thank you for supporting what we stand for. Make sure you guys come check out our next stream, because we still have a lot more work to do. You guys have a pleasant day. Have a pleasant night, and we'll see you guys on the next stream, okay? Peace.